I've got my laptop running VCDS diagnostic software that's connected to the car. We're going to make two changes. Hello guys, and welcome to this Volks Wizard video, which today continues the story of my brand new Golf R estate, which I collected just 2 days ago. Now if you saw the collection video, you'll know I had no prep done to it. It wasn't one of those whip off the cover and there's your brand new car, so all shiny. It was parked in the corner of the car park, covered in dirt and with most of the protective covers on it that it left the Zwickau factory with back in June. Well, this video is going to be one of two. Number two will be a new car detail to the paintwork, quite a big job, so I thought I'd just do that as a separate video. Today we're going to sort of just make the car look a bit more normal because it's got like writing on the windscreen, stickers in the windscreen, stickers on the pillars, all this sort of protection stuff. Why you need protection on the back seats? Surely they're not like carrying people around in the back of them before they get delivered. We're going to fit the new mats, which are sat there in their protected bag. Get rid of this thing on the side of it, which is a bit embarrassing. So clean the footwell first, take the cover off, unpack the central armrest. I'm strangely looking forward to that for some reason. And if you find that a bit boring, well, rest assured that's not going to be all we're going to do, because we've got three other interesting things to do. We're going to fit some winter tyres to it to make it look even more boring. There are actually 17-inch GT wheels, but before we do that, I've got some 18-inch wide BBS wheels that I've used as track wheels on my TCR that we're going to fit to it. I'll really value your opinion as to what you think it looks like with those on, because they're not necessarily going to be the ones that go on the car, but if you like the BBS style, then I'll try and get some new ones to fit to it in the future. While the car's up in the air having the wheels swapped, we're also going to spray the underside of it with some protective wax. It's a Volkswagen Group wax, and it's just good to catch everything early, particularly as it's December now and the gritters are out in force. Okay guys, I've switched to GoPro on the head. I'll try and be nice and steady, and I'm not using a radio mic because it means I can monitor what is being recorded on my phone, which is quite handy. If you use a radio mic, you get a lot of interference using Wi-Fi. So as it stands, if I hold that in front of me, I can see the phone clearly, so that should hopefully mean that you get to see what I'm doing. Right, so let's get rid of these funny little covers first. Oh, that tab there to pull, yes. It's interesting that they cover these because they are very vulnerable to scratching, so yeah. That's quite interesting. Well, carefully stuck that down there. I'm sure they designed all this to not leave any residue on the car, but we'll just give it a wipe. Anyway, with this tar and glue remover, this is Autoglim tar and glue for a pretty heavy duty chemical. It smells quite nice actually. And it does work, lovely. I use it for tar removal mainly, but it's really good for glue. So it's ideal for this kind of job. No, nothing on there, but we'll give it a wipe anyway. And then on the back, what have we got? We've got this, which is not glued on, so that's easy enough. Okay, what's left then? Bit of chalk. It's a bit stubborn. That's gone, and then you can see how dirty the car is. It's got tan line, chalk there, chalk there. Yeah, that is designed to not come off in bad weather, I guess. So that's pretty stubborn. That's an interesting sticker there. So it says GB Terminals Limited. And it's to track the car through the port, presumably. So this car, I think, came into Grimsby and it arrived at the dealer in October. Okay, that's almost like paint, not chalk. Okay, last thing then is this protector. There must be a technique to this that's escaping me. Okay, That's it. Now I'm being careful not to rub this too much because we don't want to damage the paint. That came off straight away, so that's good. Let's carefully remove this sticker then, so how do we do that? Start on the outside. Oh well, it's come off pretty well. You cannot beat a Stanley knife blade. I don't think you can do any damage with it either. Yes, you see how easy that is. I mean, that's just a rusty old blade that's probably not very sharp, but it's perfect for this. Ah, I forgot these. Okay, bit of wipe. Nice. Yeah, I'm thinking the car's going to look a lot better with these removed because it just gives it a bit more contrast. Looks a bit weird with it all white, so yeah, it can only look better. Oh yeah, that's been designed to come off. We like that. I wonder what that one said and why it's already half off. Maybe because it's in the driver's eyesight. Okay, let's get some tar and glue on there. Okay, should have softened it up a bit, so let's try and heat it off. A real mess now. I'm trying to avoid getting spray everywhere on this side because we've got the leather steering wheel and the instrument cluster, so I'm spraying it onto the cloth. Yeah, that's good. Okay, probably do the clean later on, but we can do that. Right, now to clean the footwell. So guys, meet my friend Charles. He's a pneumatic wet and dry cleaner, and I've had him for years now, and he's been the best vacuum I've ever had. He's a really good normal vacuum, but he's also good at wet and dry. If you just swap a few bits over, you can like wet clean the interior really quickly. So they're not very practical for home, and Dyson's much better. But for doing this kind of work, these things are great, and they're made in England, so big ups to Pneumatic International. Right, let's just get this quickly vaxed. Okay, we've vaxed the loose dirt out. Now something I use to clean for pretty much everything is Quantum, which is supplied by TPS, Volkswagen Group's own brand, glass cleaner. Now I know we're not cleaning glass, but this cleans everything. It's so much better than water. So spray it, I mean you can spray it wherever you want, but there's a little scuff on there from getting in and out. Gone. So I just thought I'd give this a bit of protection, a wipe. It's unfortunately snagged on that corner there. But that's not bad, and I've got a bit of a fetish for clean pedals as well, so it's very rare for me to present a car for sale when the pedals aren't really clean, so I might as well have that benefit for my own car. How long it'll last, I don't know. So I do the dead pedal as well. on UK cars is a really nasty bit of plastic, unlike on left-hand drive cars. Okay, I think that's back to pretty much how it was when it left the factory, so that's good. I'm going to leave this cover on the sill cover there because it's not doing any harm, so yeah, leave that there. I think I'll remove this because, as I said earlier, I'm not as much of a geek as I was with my Club Sport S. Get rid of that. Not that much of a geek. We'll keep that. Oh no, let's just get rid of it. Okay, that's done. So next up, seat cover. Is it designed to rip? It does rip. Let's take that one off first. Okay, and then unpack the centre armrest. That's that. Okay, let's get the new mats out of their protective packaging and get them fitted. I think the passenger footwell should be perfect. Yep. I'll come back to that because there is a bit of dirt in there actually because someone has sat there. Let's do the driver's one. We know that one is perfect. So I should be able to clip them in place. Yeah. Look at that, virginal mats. Okay, there's actually a little mark on the seat base. This is the real annoyance of Golf 7. This bit of the seat base always gets kicked. Right, so that's good. Just do a little bit more vacuuming. Okay, let's do the driver's side rear. So we have the square corner on the outer edge then, so that's that one. That's good. Right. Come on, Charles. Work to do. So it's looking a bit more like a new car inside now, which is good because that's a bit that can stay clean whatever the weather outside is doing, and it is pretty nasty at the moment. There's just a little bit of dirt there from when I had a passenger in here yesterday. That is something I have never seen on a car before. What is that? That is weird. Anybody knows what that is? Is it like a curry hook like they used to put in the boots, or they probably still do? Okay guys, as you can see, the car is up in the air now, so the first thing we should do is give you a tour of the underside. You don't get that on many other channels, do you? But it's quite interesting because being an estate, it's a bit different to the hatch, because the distance from here to here is longer and the exhaust routing is different. Now there are a couple of interesting things. One, none of these tailpipes are valved. They're both straight through, which is different to the hatch and different to the Mark 7 estate. This is a 7.5. Both of these tailpipes are actually genuine. For some reason, one of them was completely fake on the Mark 7 Golf R estate, whereas you can see these are connected to the back box, of which there are two. Now there's no other silencer really, weirdly, because normally you'd get one, I think probably down here somewhere, a resonator, but I think the petrol particulate filter on this negates the need to have one. Actually, while we're here, let's have a look at that brand new Haldex unit. Yeah, it's pretty familiar. This is Haldex Gen 5, so that's a pump that's already on borrowed time. So that's a brand new exhaust. We've got writing on it there. So yeah, this must be the catalyst. I've got no idea where the petrol particulate filter is. Don't know. But there we go. So that's the underside of the car. So it got a bit dirty yesterday, what with going out in the wet, but it's not too bad. This is the steel subframe that the Club Sport S didn't get. That got aluminium. The later 2020 TCR's got an aluminium subframe as well for some reason, but they're all 5 doors, so there's not really much weight to be gained. But yeah, this is what we got on this and my TCR. So it is really just steel and it will rust. Same for the wishbones. Nothing really exotic on this. And then these trailing arms and the rear wishbones, again, are all prone to corrosion. So, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't really be that bothered, but I am. Now, I used to swear by ACF 50, let's just find some light. But now I use this. This is called Preservation Wax, and it's available from Volkswagen. I was tipped off about this by a guy called Alex Fisk, who used to be the digital PR manager for Audi UK, and he's got a Mark 1 Golf, and he told me about this. And actually, it's better than ACF 50 because it's not very runny. With ACF 50, you have to wait for it to dry, and this really goes on dry. So I'm going to go home in probably half an hour or so, or an hour. I'm not going to be worried about this being wet. So yeah, it's about 20 quid. There's the part number, people, D321M15M1. Tell that to somebody at your parts counter in your Volkswagen dealership, and they should be able to get it for you. So I can't really do this with two hands, but I'll spray that on there, and then I'll get my light, and I will show you what it looks like. So there it is. So ACF 50 would be dripping on the floor now, so I actually prefer this. So I'm going to give everything a bit of a wipe down with some sort of WD-40 type spray, and then I'm going to spray all that as much as I can on the car now, and that should give it a good start in life, because that's what this kind of car deserves, because in 10 years you won't be able to buy an internal combustion car, believe it or not. So yeah, we better preserve the ones that we've got. Okay guys, I've taken the wheel off because it's coming off anyway to switch to the winters. So while it's off, I thought I'd give the strut a clean and a good old wax, because you can get to where you want to a lot more easily. The reason I do this is because I see a lot of car undersides and they can look pretty terrible pretty early on. But I don't think it's much, 20 quid and a bit of time to do this, to preserve the underside really. Obviously it helps if you've got a ramp, but it's not essential. Now, it's interesting to have a look at this hub on this 2-day-old car and see how much corrosion there is on there. So I'm going to get wire brushing that and put some grease on it. Okay, at the back, again, we've got a lot of corrosion on that hub. This might be a 2-day-old car, but it's been built for 6 months now. So yeah, we can sort that out. But here you can see we get much better access to the rear subframe. So we can get on top of the arms and the drive shafts. That's good. Okay, I'm now fitting these 8x18 BBS wheels, which you probably recognise from my TCR. They were my track day wheels. They've got Pirelli P0 Trofeo R's, which are one of the most hardcore road legal tyres you can buy. Probably not suitable for 3 degrees in December, so they're going to come off. But let's get it on the ground and put it next door and we'll have a good look at how they look, and you can tell me what you think, guys. Okay, I brought the car in here so you can see what it looks like on these BBS wheels. They're not the ones I want to put on the car, but it's just an interesting exercise to see what it looks like on A, an 8x8 inch wheel, and B, a BBS style wheel. So there you go, guys. Now the interesting thing to note is that when you see a Pretoria wheel, it looks good because it's a 19x8, and I think most of the reason it looks good is because it's a little bit wider. It's the same width as this wheel, even though it's an 18-inch wheel. You can run 235 tyres as well, so you get the same width tyre, but you don't ruin the ride quality. And the reason Volkswagen don't fit 8x18s is because they want to sell you the upgrade wheel, but it's much easier for them to sell you a 19 than it is to sell you an 8x18, so they don't give you the option for a wider wheel, which is a real shame. I think Audi do on the RS3s, at least on one axle. So these are the original Cadiz. They're 7.5x18. So taking the style out of it for now, you can see how set into the arch they are. That ½ inch makes a real difference. Back to the BBS. Now I'm not completely taken by silver on this car because I just think it looks a bit washed out. So I think we need like a smoky colour on there. Probably not black, but some sort of shade of grey. Now tomorrow you'll see the car again when we do the VCDS stuff, and it'll be on its 17, so it's going to look absolutely awful. But the weather forecast for the next week's not good, so I think at least for the next week I'm going to run them on that, and then we'll see how we get on with changing to either some new BBS or back onto the original Cadiz. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Well, welcome to the inside of my Golf R estate. So I've got my laptop running VCDS diagnostic software that's connected to the car. We're going to make two changes. The first one is to disable the keyless entry system because that makes the car very vulnerable to theft. The second is to disable the fake sound device that makes the car sound like an Impreza, and it just sounds rubbish. The one in the new S3, I've got to admit, it sounds good. I hate this. It's awful. And apparently the estate doesn't need it because it's got a much more tuneful exhaust than the hatch. This is even a WLTP car, so it should be quieter, but they've taken, I think, a resonator out of the exhaust to make it sound good. So firstly, let's have a look at this. Now there are a couple of ways of disabling keyless entry. The first is to disable the sensors in the doors, but that's not ideal. There is a flaw to that I'm not going to tell you on this video, but it's not perfect. The other is to disable the system in its entirety. Now this is not ideal because, okay, you have to use the remote to open and close, but you also have to do something with the key to get the car started. That's a bit of a fiddle. So I'm going to try that anyway, see if I can get used to it. But as I say, I'm used to using a key anyway, so it shouldn't be much harder than that, but we'll see. That's what we're going to do today, the proper disabling of the system in its entirety. Okay, so let's do that first then. So we need to go into Central Electrics, which is there. We need to go into Security Access, which has got a code which somebody on a Skoda forum has revealed, which is 31347, and it likes that, so that's good. Adaptation, and then the easiest thing to do is search for KESI, which means keyless entry, something keyless entry, so they can steal yours, maybe. Okay, that should narrow anything down in here to just KESI, so let's do that. Alright, so it says it's installed there, so we're going to go for not installed. Not installed. And what do we want now? We want to do it. Okay. Say yes to that. And it's happy with that now, so there we go, not installed. So go back. And then next up we need to make it stopping to not sound stupid anymore. So let's go to structure born sound, which is here. I've already done this on my TCR, which I'll cover in an update video, which will be done sometime in December, I think. Okay, I reckon it's adaptation, and then there's only one choice. It's quite a basic device. So it's currently on 100%. The modes affect how loud it is, but I think it means that the maximum it can be, say in race mode, will be 100%. Well, I hate it so much, I'm not even going to quiet it down on this car. Let's just put it down to 0, and then say do it, so it accepts it. And there we go, 0, so that's completely off. Okay, let's turn that off now. Now the other thing, which is a real security thing, is to connect the car to the Volkswagen app, because we've got this SOS function here, which means the car's got an inbuilt SIM card, which means if it's stolen, you can use it to recover the car. And I do know of a TCR that was recovered because of that. Okay, let's find the app, which I've already got for my car. There. Right, it's got my TCR there, so we're going to add another one. And we need to get the chassis number for it. Okay, so if we can get it off this car in the infotainment screen, settings, instrument cluster, time and date, I think it's that one. Alright, so that's the VIN. And then you can get your phone to actually read it, so that's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay. Yep, how do we accept that? Check VIN, confirm VIN. Okay, it's accepted that, so let's see what happens now. So you get a free subscription to CarNet Guide and Inform, which I never really use anyway, but I just want to get the car connected to the phone so I can just track it. So let's put this in, and please enter the activation code into your infotainment system. Right, had to delete crude, not sure why they were on there. Maybe it's part of the PDI to do that. 11135, okay. Okay, we're registered for that, so that's good. Right, what do we need to do on here? It seems quite happy. Finish registration, let's see. Connect to your Golf variant. Oh, cool, let's do it. Right then, so we are connected. Now on here somewhere there is the option to find out where the car is. Okay, I've come outside of the car because I think being inside it was affecting the communication between the app and the car. But basically, should you wish to, you can activate the horn and the turn signals using your phone. You can unlock and lock the car. You can find out the fuel range. You can find out when the service is due next. You can find out where it's been. And most importantly, you can find out where it is right now, because it's effectively got a tracker. So if your Golf's got the SOS button, make sure you get this app connected to your car. I think it's really easy if you're the first owner. If you're trying to take it over from another owner, there's a bit of security you have to go through, which I had to do with my TCR, but it's really good. So this is the app, and it's telling me the car is on Orchard Way, which is just down the road. It can't be 100% accurate, but that's still pretty good. So yeah, make sure you connect to that, because it could mean you get your car back if it's stolen. Right, let me just show you then how hideous it looks on these winter wheels. So these are 17-inch off the GT, and what size are the tyres? 225, 45, 17. And as you can see, they do clear the brakes just so you can, oh gosh, you can't really get your finger in there, but they do the job. So yeah. It's funny because when I did the bit last night and I left, it was absolutely tipping it down with rain, and I was so glad to be in that car with four-wheel drive on winter tyres with lots of chunky tread on them, because yeah, it just was, it didn't deviate at all from its chosen path in all that rain. It was pretty amazing. So yeah, I still love my TCR, but last night this was definitely the car to be in. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this Volks Wizard video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, please comment, please share, please subscribe, and come back for episode 2 where we'll be doing the new car paint correction on this car. So it's actually parked up now, ready to be washed, and then that'll be episode 2 when we get down to doing the paint. So I'll see you for that one really soon.